This is the notes for 2.2b slope-intercept form. Okay, the slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope, defined as the difference in y's over the difference in x's, and b is your y-intercept. Question 1 asks us to graph given our slope and y-intercept. So we're going to start with our y-intercept. Here, they tell us that our y-intercept is a -7. So on the y-axis, we go down to -7, we put a point. Our slope is 6, which we can write as 6 over 1, because 6 divided by 1 is still 6. So our top number is the difference in our y, which is 6. So this is telling us we're going to go up 6, right 1. So up 6, right 1, we put our second point. Now we just connect them to get our line. Okay, question 2. Question 2 basically gives us an equation and it asks us to find our slope and our y-intercept. So from the equation we was given earlier, we know that our y-intercept is the part that's being added or subtracted. So in this case, our y-intercept is -2. And then we know that our slope is the piece in front of our x, in this case, an 8. Question 3 is basically a combination of question 1 and 2. We're given a line, we're given an equation, we're asked to graph it. So we start out with our y-intercept of +1. So again, on the y-axis, we go to 1 and we put a point. Our slope is -3/2. Okay, so your top number is always your up or down. Your bottom number is always to the right. So here, -3/2 tells us from our y-intercept we're going to go down 3, right 2. And again, once we have our 2 points, all we need to do is connect them to get our line. Question 4, again, very similar. The only difference is that here you have an integer instead of a fraction, but just like we did with question 1, we can place that over 1. So now to graph it, we start with our y-intercept of -5. So we go to -5 on our y-axis, we put a point. Our slope is 2 over 1, so we know from the y-intercept we're going to go up 2, right 1. And then once we have our 2 points, we connect them to get our line. Question 5. Question 5 says graph the function f of x equals -1/3 x plus 8. Okay, remember that f of x can be replaced with y. So this is essentially asking us to graph y equals -1/3 x plus 8. So just like we had before, we start with our y-intercept of +8. So on the y-axis, we go to 8, we put a point. Our slope is -1/3. Again, the negative goes with the top number. So this is telling us from our y-intercept, we're going down 1, right 3. Okay, and so once we have our point, we're able to connect them to get our line. Question 6 asks us to find the slope and y-intercept and then graph. So here, what we want to do is we want to get our equation in the form y equals. You're always going to do that with 2 basic steps. The first step is to move your x to the other side. You're going to do this either through plus or minus. In this case, it's a -6x or a -6x, so we will add it to both sides. So if we do that, this -3y comes down. Okay, we cannot combine the 9 and the 6x because they're not like terms, so we'll just go ahead and write it as 6x minus 9. Your second step, if there's a number on your y, you divide all three pieces by that number. So on our left side, obviously negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1, so we get y. 6 divided by negative 3 is negative 2, so negative 2x. Negative 9 divided by negative 3 is positive 3. So now we got our equation. Okay, so to graph it, well, we start with our y-intercept of 3. So again, our y-intercept is 3. So we go to 3 on the y-axis and we put a point. Our slope is the negative 2. Okay, remember, we can always put this over 1. So negative 2 tells us we're going to go down 2. 1 tells us we're going right 1. So from our y-intercept, again, we go down 2, right 1. So now we have our 2 points. We can connect them to get our line. Question 7 asks us to write a equation and then solve it. So here it says Diana's a software saleswoman. She has a base salary of $2,100 and an additional $80 for every copy she sells. Write an equation. P represents the total pay and N represents the number of copies. Okay, so we start off with P. Her base pay is $2,100. So we'll go ahead and put that in first. She makes $80 per copy. So $80 per copy tells us we have to multiply it by something. And again, that is the number of copies, N. Okay, so now at this point, if we want to get it into slope-intercept form, we just flip-flop these two pieces of our equation to get 80N plus 2,100. Okay, the second part of it asks us to solve it for when she sells 27 copies. So here, all we have to do is replace N with 27 to get 80 times 27 equals 2,100. Then plug this part into your calculator to get P equals 4,260. Okay. Question 8 says a small pond is being filled with water at a rate of 35 liters per minute. There's 700 liters to start. We want an equation where W is your original amount of water. Alright, we start with 700 liters, and then we're told that it's 35 liters per minute. So that'd be 35 per minute, so that's times our time, which they tell us is T. Okay, again, if we want slope-intercept form, we just flip-flop these two pieces to get W equals 35T plus 700. Okay, from here, they want us to graph the equation. Okay, so we can start with our y-intercept of 700. Okay, and then from here, we have a slope of 35. You can just go ahead and plug a random number in here to use it. I want to use, say, a time value of 4. I can just plug this into the calculator and I get 840. Okay, and then if I plot this point for 840, connect it, I have my line. So that is the notes for 2.2b